All right, you guys. So this is the dollar index, and I just want to go over a few key points for the upcoming week. First, you have the dollar, which is up, um, as everybody knows, and as you take a look at it, up about 10% since April. And so this is a monthly chart, and what could be forming would be a what they call a topping tail, meaning you're getting this long wick on the dollar. Okay, so this would be a bullish scenario, which I actually think is going to play out. But you see this? That's what they call a topping tail on, and this is on a monthly chart, so that's why it's important. And so, not saying that's going to happen, but assuming that the news Tuesday with the CPI is good and that Fed Powell doesn't say anything crazy and the core doesn't surprise, then what you could have forming would be a topping tail on the monthly for the dollar. So as the dollar comes down, the markets move up. Okay, so that's a core concept to pay attention to, because I know crypto people like to look at the dollar and think all kinds of crazy shit, but what you could be forming is a topping tail. It could pull back to here, which would be bullish for Bitcoin. So with that being said, there are a few things that could surprise this week that are aside from just your European news. So here, if the CPI Tuesday year over year is expected to come down, and if it does, that's good. Market will like that. But if the core, if it's up and it surprises on the high side, it could lead to selling. So something that could cause an unexpected change this week to the downside would be the core inflation being unexpectedly high. So CPI should be around 8%, and then core around like 6 something, 6.1, I think, something like that. But if you were to see that come in super high, there might be a delayed response, like market digestion, as they got to go back to work and figure out what that means. But towards Thursday, Friday, you might see selling based on that idea if it came in high. So that'd be something to watch for. Another thing I've talked about that everyone ignored completely was this train strike. Okay, and so what happened was, this is back in probably July. They went, basically the labor union for the um, the dudes who operate the trains. They threatened to strike. They couldn't come to common ground. They were going to shut down the railroads. So this is a big deal because it will shut down the railroads. People are like, well, what the fuck do I care? Well, you care because everything that comes on Amazon is basically you're using a truck or a railroad, right? So the problem with this one is they already went all the way through all the legal remedy that there was at the time, and Biden had to step in to impose some things so that the deadlines could be extended. Well, now we're at the deadlines again, and they haven't come up with a deal, and it looks like they are going to strike, and that is on September 16th. So if they do strike, that would be about $2 billion in losses per day for the for the railroads, for everybody involved. Okay, to the general economy. Why that matters, and to the markets, is this wouldn't be, if this train strike happens, it's not like the market sells off immediately, but if it is extended for a couple days, in some cases 3 days, there will be products that just are not there, right? So as far as prepping and getting your shit together, that's why I got my shit together a long time ago, because these things can happen. You're living in those times, and this is a sleeper. Everybody's asleep on this, and those trains could shut down on September 16th. 3 days later, certain products that are fresh are no longer in stores, in certain geographies, everybody imagines zombie apocalypse, like the entire world's going to shut down. It's not how it would look. But if you were in a major city or in an area that was more affected by this stuff, just like the baby formula. I don't have kids. I didn't worry about baby formula, but it was bad for the people who are affected by it, right? So the same thing here. Um, but everyone would feel this to a degree because everyone uses products that are on trains. And so if it wasn't resolved in, say, 3 to 5 days, if you go into like a 10-day, 2-week stretch without trains, now you're in a whole different ball game. And then you could see panic buying, panic selling, as far as going to the store and panic selling on the market, because it would be a kind of black swan style event that no one, they're all kind of sleeping on it. I don't sleep on nothing, man. I know all this stuff ahead of time. So watch for that. It could pop off. We don't know. If it does, I will keep you posted. But those are the things to look for over the week. And then this idea here, if this starts to pull back, that's what I see happening, is this pullback later into September, early October, maybe even a pullback here, which brings the markets back up and creates this double top that I've been talking about, where we get a second chance to add to the KuCoin short ETF. And that's really what it's looking like. But there's so much crazy news right now that you could have a news catalyst like a train strike, like I've been repeating and just repeat myself again. If it's data driven only, so if it's just data driven CPI, trading as normal, you're going to see this move up here. And it could come all the way back up here, right? And then you'll see your move and you'll break to the lower low, and then it's anybody's guess. And we're not there yet, so I don't have that all up on charts. But so this is data driven now. If there is a train strike that lasted for 2 weeks or something happens in Europe, now you could see something like this where you get a rally this week, that train strike, shit really starts to hit the fan. You come up to a level like this, a resistance, right? And they're aware of this strike, and they go, well, that's the most we're going to get out of this. Now it's time to panic sell. And it just brings you lower now. That's the importance of understanding news-driven catalysts, man. That's how you trade. You don't just trade these horizontal lines. I don't get it. I just don't get these guys are like, well, we just trade these lines. Well, you got to know what's going to move that line. So if you hear this strike taking place for 10 days, well, you can pick a resistance right around here, and you can be pretty sure, unless that is resolved, we're going to go lower. That's a news catalyst. Nothing can move. You know what I'm saying? Or something in Europe pops off, and then, then you're doing that. So anyway, that's what's up, guys. Watch out for that stuff. All right, peace.